And oh shoot. Oh no, here we go. I'm just gonna quickly embed, and someone could be doing this on the back end too. You wouldn't have to be doing this all yourself if you had some like tech support. So copy, I'm gonna go back to the website. Just paste in the code. Oh shoot. You can actually just take the URL. Sorry, let's go back. I'm gonna keep the dimensions the same because I think the dimensions look nice here. So I'm just gonna take a specific part of the code. Oops. URL, coming back in, and I just replace the URL that already exists. Boom. And what you'll see is it should be actually me talking to myself. Isn't that fun? To myself. Isn't that fun? To myself. Isn't that fun? Okay, we're gonna pause that. What is nice, and I think might be interesting to you, is that once you finish the live stream, what should pop up is the option for someone to be able to replay the live stream. So up until you live stream again, someone could come to your website and watch, play your most recent live stream until it's updated again. If you wanted, you could continue to populate this page with videos of all your live streams. I don't know if that's interesting to you. Instead of embedding code, what I would do is I would just embed YouTube links into Squarespace's already formatted video player. This is all code, and the video player is a little bit easier to manage. And could be, I think, something that you could learn very easily. So there is a current option for live streaming through YouTube. Let me know your thoughts. I'm also going to show you the About page. Not much has changed. We just incorporated the text that I was using, the font that I was using on other pages. It was very text heavy, and so I wanted to keep it as simple as possible. So we have your picture, we have the CV brought up so people could kind of reach that a little bit quicker. And I think having it sort of wrapped around the image helps to condense things a little bit and maybe make it a little bit more readable. You don't have to scroll as much, which I think is nice. So that's your About page. And then we have collaborators. There's Mayfield. Okay. Here we are. Much more design-wise in line with the rest of the site. The collaborators from your About page I brought to this page. Felt like it would be in a more appropriate place. Yeah, let me know what you think. I can also do something similar with the background on your page, but it just felt like the text was a little bit more, it became less legible. And unless I did something with like a background, like a colored background like I've been doing on other pages, but that seems like a lot of visual space with so much text. Anyway, that's what I'm done this far. This weekend, I'm going to do a little bit more. Oh, and I also fixed your logo. So the logo is the same exactly, copied and pasted from here over to here. I hope that helps to even out everything. Hope you're having a good one. Talk to you soon. I'm going to visit the option for the live stream. So what I'm realizing that YouTube Live creates a unique URL every time you do a live stream. So what would be a potential downside is that this URL is going to every time you create a live stream. What is exciting? I just had a flirtatious text come in while I was making this video, and I'm realizing that that was also recorded.
That's amazing.
Via YouTube Live, you can already have it set up. Or if you wanted to get your computer to really go to what would be your YouTube. What? Oh, I just watched it. It's very obvious. Oh. And I'm like, is it unprofessional to send it?
Like,
kind of. It was just like, as long as you smile, that's all I need, was the text. Which is kind of cute. It's not like, pull down your pants, you fucking slut. Show me that ass.
Show me that juicy ass you've been working
on. I want to clean it up. This video is messy. Messy.
Have you guys been keeping this just like in the fridge mostly this summer?
I mean, no. I think be storing it down on the shelves. Yeah.
Long-standing Republican. I'm telling you, you gotta vote for Joe Biden. I have voted for a campaign for Republicans since the Reagan years. But I've already voted. I'm still trying to find for president. We need a positive leader.
Is it on?
Yeah. Huh?
Is it on?
It's about to start. It's about to start. Should I put it on this thing? Blow it up! Oh.
It's a republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Hey everybody, it's me, Kamala.
Mama.
Later tonight, I want to talk about the importance of voting. I know many of you plan to vote this. It's the excitement and enthusiasm for this election, you've also heard about obstacles and misinformation and folks making it harder for you to cast your ballot. So I think we need to ask ourselves, why don't they want us to vote? Why effort to silence our voices? And the answer is because when we vote, things change. When we vote, things get better. When we vote, we address the need for all people to be treated with dignity and respect in our country. So each of us needs a plan, a voting plan. Joe and I want to make sure you're prepared. If you text VOTE to 30330, we'll help you come up with your plan and remember deadlines and get ready to vote in your community. So send that text and encourage your family and friends to send one too. Now let's enjoy another night of inspiration from around our country. I'll see you a little later tonight, and until then, I turn it over to my dear friend and tonight's moderator, Harry Washington.
Ooh. Hey, girl.
Welcome to night 3 of the Democratic National Convention. I am honored to be joining you as we continue to celebrate this unconventional convention. We're going to be hearing a lot more from Senator Harris later, I promise. But first, when I was in 7th or 8th grade, we memorized the preamble of the Constitution, and I've never forgotten it. The first 15 words of our Constitution are, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union." We say more perfect because our union is not without flaws. When our Constitution was written, women couldn't vote. Black people were considered 3/5 of a human being. Work. No one is perfect. Nothing is. But it is the striving toward justice, equality, and truth that distinguishes us. We fight for a more perfect union because we are fighting for the soul of this country and for our lives. And right now, that fight is real. Tonight, we are going to hear from so many phenomenal women who are working to help us build that more perfect union. Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Secretary Hillary Clinton, Senator Elizabeth Warren, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham. We're going to see an incredible performance from Jennifer Hudson and a world premiere performance from Billie Eilish. We'll meet so
Billie Eilish is performing? What the fuck? Really?
Sure. And we're going to hear from our former President, Barack Obama.
Damn, they're really.
That's a long way of saying this is going to be an unforgettable night filled with important.
They are doing a good job. It's like everything about
we
besides
hope to hear from
Joe is
tonight is the one we need to hear from most. It's yours.
lots of women,
Because
lots of POC.
If we are going to repair the damage
Oh wait,
that has
right,
been
this
done,
is all for
if we are going to finally realize the dream, we, the people, have to get involved. Each and every one of
And
us
that's their
is
like
the
thing, we the
You.
people,
are the we.
and then it's like a
It's
mad
going to
lib.
be your voice, your service, your action that helps us create that more perfect union. Tonight, we're going to talk about where we are and where we're going on so many issues important to our future. 90% of Americans support common sense gun laws because we need to do more to address the epidemic of gun violence. Let's start there.
People affected by violence have to walk by a street corner where their best friend, their brother, their mother, their nephew, or they themselves were shot. If we all haven't just watched a loved one die and get put in the grave. The whole point of what I'm saying here is until one of us or all of us stand up and say, I can't do this anymore. I can't sit by and watch the news treat these shootings like acts of God. Gun violence isn't just going to stop until there's a force fighting harder against it, and I'm going to do something to prevent it. They say that tougher gun laws do not decrease gun violence. Be calm. Be active. They say a good guy with a gun stops a bad guy with a gun. Be calm. Be will happen because we're fighting so strongly for it. We're going to make this change.
Long before this pandemic, our country has been suffering from the epidemic of gun violence. Gun violence is a public health crisis, one that disproportionately affects the Black and brown communities. First, it was my beloved fiance, my son Jerry, at the Pulse shooting in Orlando. 7 years later, it would be my son. I know exactly the pain, the toll, the heartbreak of gun violence.
My freshman year, my high school went into lockdown because a kid brought a gun to school.
We've had to endure live shooter training tools in our schools.
High schoolers have enough to deal with. They should also be responsible for keeping themselves safe at school. That's the job of the government.
We have to end corporate lobbying by the NRA. We have to invest in mental health in our communities rather than making our schools maximum security prisons.
I want a president who will make gun violence prevention a top priority, and I believe Joe Biden is that person.
And now, mother and activist, Deandra
In a
Dykes.
split second, a stray bullet shattered my family's life. My son DeAndre was only 13 years old. He was recognized as a gifted and talented student. His possibilities were endless. He was dancing at a birthday party when he was shot in the back left side of his head, shattering his skull. One shot changed our lives forever. Today, Andre does not talk, he does not walk. I know he knows me by the smile he shows when I walk in his room, but I'm unsure if he knows a gunshot has changed his life. Since March, I've only been able to see my son 3 times, but I can't touch or hug him due to COVID-19. People tell me that I'm lucky. I tell them we are blessed. I remind them that my son is in a wheelchair and unable to feed himself. I don't think DeAndre feels lucky when he has to be bathed from head to toe or gets injections for muscle contractions. I am in a space of gratitude. Yes, I can touch DeAndre, I can hold his hand, but the child that I birthed is not able to live his dreams, and that hurts. Every day we're reminded that he may never be the same. We are not alone. In every town across America, there are families who know what a bullet can do. That's why I'm a mom who volunteers to stop this. President Trump, he doesn't care. He didn't care about the victims after Parkland, Las Vegas, or El Paso. I want a president who cares about our pain and grief. A president who will take on the gun lobby to ban assault weapons and close the loopholes to keep guns out of the hands of criminals. Joe Biden has taken on the NRA twice and won, and he will do it again as president.
I've looked in the eyes of too many parents, and I mean literally scores of them, who've lost their children to gun violence. I've looked in the eyes of brave young people who survived school shootings. And I made each of them a promise, and made myself a promise. I promised them, and I promise all of you, I will make this promise today. Those families hurting across the country. I will never, 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 never give up this fight.
Out of pain, we choose to find meaning. A glimmer of light that lands on promise. Former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, shot in the head from less than 3 feet away, but she survived. When tragedy strikes, we seek comfort in knowing
most difficult times is when we stand closest together. It's out of tragedy that we grow stronger.
He was there for me. He'll be there for you too. We are a nation ready to end gun violence. A safer America is possible. But from this point forward, we must choose courage. I've known the darkest of days of pain and uncertain recovery. But confronted by despair, I've summoned hope. Confronted by paralysis and aphasia, I've responded with grit and determination. I put one foot in front of the other. I found one word and then I found another. My recovery is a daily fight, but fighting makes me stronger. Words once came easily, today I struggle to speak. But I have not lost my voice. America needs all of us to speak out, even when you have to fight to find the words. We are at a crossroads. We can let the shooting continue, or we can act. We can protect our families, our future. We can vote. We can be on the right side of history. We must elect Joe Biden. He was there for me. He'll be there for you too. Join us in this fight. Vote, vote, vote. Thank you very much.
Tonight, we're going to hear from many change makers who are using their powers for good, who are working to confront the other epidemics we're facing: COVID-19, structural racism, police violence against Black bodies, violence against members of the trans community. We are facing so many challenges. To meet these challenges, we will need systematic solutions. We need leaders who can see us, hear us, represent us, all of us. To Joe Biden, nothing is more important than taking the time to make sure that people are seen, heard, and believed in.
I was trained in DC, and I remember I called my grandmother, and I said, Joe Biden's walking by, and she goes, oh my God, put him on. And I see his staffer going like, no, like don't take the call, what are you doing? And he points to his staffer and he goes like go that way, and he sent his staffer away.
How could I not be endeared to him instantly? He talked to me for the next half hour.
I see Dana Bash from CNN, and she says that Senator Biden will be on at 5, and he sends her away.
He asked me about my sons. He asked me about what I did. All I know was it was all about me, not about him.
And then he comes back to me and he goes, it was lovely talking to your grandmother. And then he starts the interview with Dana Bash. It was unbelievable.
I must interject one thing. At the very end of his chat with me, he said, could you do me a favor? I said, sure, what is it? He said, tell me how I can get your grandson's hair. He was good humored, he was sensitive, and here it is all these years later, and it's vivid in my mind.
You know, as much as I feel like I got to know him in that moment, it feels like he knows us. I know Joe because he listens, and whether he's heard your story or someone else's story, he cares about everyone's story.
He'll care more about you than he'll care about himself.
What a beautiful story. Okay, now let's talk about another important issue, the climate crisis. This is an issue that has been on for decades. In 1986, while working as a senator, Joe Biden introduced one of the first climate bills in Congress, and he's continued to listen to and work with climate advocates and activists, putting forward a plan to address climate change and create a clean energy economy.
There are battles that we need to fight and we need to win to secure our future in this country. But there's one issue that is an existential threat to all of us, that is climate change.
The climate crisis is here, and we must act.
It is the most pressing issue of our time, and we deserve to be treated as such.
We no longer have any time to wait.
Our generation will bear the burden of past mistakes, but we stand to benefit most from changing course now.
We know that in a couple of years it will be too late.
We need to change the paradigm, and that happens here with us. We should invest massively in wind, solar, geothermal, green infrastructure.
Moving away from fossil fuels and being highly competitive in renewables.
We need to lay out our specific policies
So that we can give our children, my children, your children, a planet that can sustain.
that needs to happen now.
We need it now.
The moment demands it, we can afford nothing less.
Good evening, America. I'm Michelle Lujan Grisham, governor of the great state of Nuevo Mexico. I'm proud of my home state every single day, especially how we have punched above our weight in our successful response to COVID-19. I'm proud of New Mexicans from Taos to Truth or Consequences who have stepped up and sacrificed in so many incredible ways this past 10 years. And I'm proud how we embrace our multicultural identity as our greatest strength. And I'm proud that New Mexico has shown what climate leadership looks like. While the Trump administration has been eliminating environmental protections, we've expanded them. While they've been rolling back regulations on oil and gas, we've taken on polluters and held them accountable. We've committed to a renewable energy future with exciting and fulfilling careers for workers all across our beautiful state, including right here in the heart of northern New Mexico. We're laying a roadmap here for what America can and should look like in the 21st century. An America where we lead again, where we build safer, cleaner, and more affordable cities and communities, where we provide meaningful opportunities for workers and families to thrive and build better lives. As president, Joe Biden will rejoin the International Climate Agreement, and the United States will once again lead on this critical issue. At home, he'll invest in energy workers and he will deliver for working families across the U.S., helping them build meaningful careers while accelerating our nation and world into a clean, green 21st century and well beyond. We know time is running out. We have the chance this November to end two existential crises: the Trump presidency and the environmental annihilation he represents. We have the chance this November to attack the climate crisis, invest in green 21st century jobs, and embrace the clean energy revolution our country people are crying out for and the leadership the rest of the world is waiting for. The choice is clear. The choice is Joe Biden. Thank you, America.
Hard work, rising to the challenge, the American way. Going to the moon was all three. Many astronauts returned home and reported a shift in their awareness. The view they saw of Earth from space was profound. The world looked beautiful, tiny, fragile. Our atmosphere is all that separates us from oblivion. We now call what they experienced the overview effect.
Here in Detroit, our long time have faced the burden of pollution. I think addressing climate change gives us an opportunity to correct some of those wrongs and to also invest in our global communities.
Maybe you've read some of the millions of pages of scientific evidence on climate change. Or maybe you felt it as you walked the neighborhood. For most people, it's overwhelming.
All of this with the global warming and that a lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax.
I had spent 5 years working on this report. The Trump administration started to remove any mention that humans were the cause of climate change from it.
I wrote my resignation letter just 6 months into the administration. They were handing the keys of public lands over to private interests. The Trump administration has gone all out, not just to neglect climate change issues and laws, but to reverse them.
We have about a decade before it's too late.
I'm a kid And I'm going to say to all these adults who are watching this right now, you get up and do something.
Some of the first climate change legislation ever written was by a senator from Delaware.
When Donald Trump thinks about climate change, the only word he can muster is hoax.
America faces a challenge, but if we face it together, we will rise to the occasion and build back better.
When I think about climate change, the word I think of is jobs.
That's Joe's plan, creating millions of new good-paying jobs, many of them union, like mine. Invest in critical infrastructure, upgrade millions of buildings, invest in micro-mobility and precision agriculture, a clean energy future that achieves net zero emissions by 2050. Because we can't power the economies of the future without investing in the technologies of the future.
I think what's really important about Joe Biden's plan is that 40% of the investment will go to vulnerable communities.
Do this. We'll do it again, but this time bigger and faster and smarter.
Joe won't ignore the crisis. We're seeing what happens when we do that. He won't surrender to the fight. Joe's America will lead the world on clean energy, will lead on job creation, and America will lead the world again on climate.
I was 13 when the Camp Fire, the most destructive wildfire in California's history, broke out. We were visiting family nearly 100 miles away, but my asthma flared badly. I could hardly breathe. I'm Alexandra B. Senior, and I've been organizing young people around climate change since 2018. Climate change is impacting us now, and it's robbing my generation of a future. For young people my age, every aspect of our lives, from where we go to school, to what kind of careers we'll have, to whether or not we can raise a family, depends on us taking climate change seriously right now. Joe Biden won't solve this crisis in 4 years. No one can. But he will put us back on track so that my generation can have a fighting chance. I'm asking you to join us. Don't let our futures go up in flames.
The corn growers near my parents' farm have a saying, knee-high by the 4th of July. They stay so lucky if the corn is even planted because of unpredictable and torrential spring rains. I'm Andrew Damsey. I study microbiology at Northern Michigan University. Us farmers can see the effects of climate change happening right in front of us. So we've been trying to do our part. We're adopting sustainable solutions on my family's farm, switching to a community model, using less land, and reusing our resources to grow our food. We are eliminating tons of carbon pollution every year by mimicking natural ecosystems. Farmers can be part of the climate solution instead of a problem. Today, we all can grow our own future, but we need our leaders to be part of the solution as well, instead of part of the problem. We need them to commit to the science, not ignore it. We need them to put real plans on the table rather than roll it back. That's what Joe Biden is doing with his clean energy revolution. Instead of being left behind, we could lead the world again.
I spend a lot of time talking about climate change with different communities here in Nevada. And the one question that I get asked over and over again is, what are you doing here? Not a lot of climate activists look like me. My name is Catherine Lorenzo. I'm an Afro-Latina and I'm a climate activist. I grew up in a low-income neighborhood where pollution rates are often higher than wealthier areas. And a lot of kids have asthma. Switching to renewable energy will mean cleaner air, better health, and a steadier income for folks in neighborhoods like mine. Because solar PV installers and wind turbine techs are some of the fastest growing jobs in the country, and Joe Biden's plan is transformative. He knows that saving the planet isn't just a challenge to overcome, it's an opportunity for a better way of life.
So it's going to be America.
Are you ready to vote for Joe Biden?
Are you ready to solve the climate crisis?
Because our futures depend on it.
Like the folks we just heard from, next up is another activist and environmentalist, not to mention an immensely talented artist. She worked to ensure that her most recent concert tour was green and sustainable, urging her fans to take similar actions in their daily lives. And even before she herself was old enough to vote, she held registration drives before her shows, signing up thousands of voters. She's a voice for her generation in both her music and her activism. Here to perform My Future publicly for the first time, Billie Eilish.
You don't need me to tell you things are a mess. Donald Trump is destroying our country and everything we care about. We need leaders who will solve problems like climate change and COVID, not deny them. Leaders who will fight against systemic racism and inequality. And that starts by voting for someone who understands how much is at stake. Someone who's building a team that shares our values. It starts with voting against Donald Trump and for Joe Biden. Silence is not an option, and we cannot sit this one out. We all have to vote like our lives and the world depend on it, because they do. The only way to be certain of the future is to make it ourselves. Please register, please vote. I can't seem to focus on you, don't seem to notice I'm not here. I'm just a mirror. You check your reflection to find your reflections all alone.
My hair is such a look. You're sassy. I actually do like her music. Not all the time, but.
With my future, can't wait to meet her. And I'm in love, but not with anybody else. Just wanna get to know myself.
Is he the one who also talks about that, like, generalizing white people about hoarding? Well, no, that's this document called White Supremacy Portrait. Like, it's on Surge. Do you know Surge? Showing up the racial justice. It's like white, all white organization.
Billie Eilish. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to talk about something close to my heart. The Black community in this country is hugely diverse. On my side, I am descended from African Americans who came from slave ships that landed in South Carolina and who were part of the Great Migration North that has played such a defining role in who we are as a nation. On my mother's side, my grandparents came here as immigrants, part of a rich history that has also defined America. They immigrated to this country from the West Indies through Ellis Island in the 1920s. I often think about how my grandmother must have felt when she first saw the Statue of Liberty in her raised to torch. My family's story is not unique. Unless you're Native American, your family likely came here from somewhere else, whether it was ago or 200 years ago, whether it was by choice or by bondage. Etched into the DNA of who we are as a nation is the very idea that though you may be from somewhere else, you can find your home here. But that idea is in danger, now more than ever before.
Tell me when I start reading. Dear Donald Trump, my name is Estella. I am 11 years old. My mom is my best friend. She came to America as a teenager over 20 years ago without papers in search of a better life. She married my dad, who served our country as a Marine in South America, Africa, and Iraq. My mom worked hard and paid taxes, and the Obama administration told her she could stay. My dad thought you would protect military families, so he voted for you in 2016, Mr. President. He says he won't vote for you again after what you did to our family.
The wife of a U.S. Marine veteran was deported to Mexico.
Instead of protecting us, you tore our world apart.
My mom is a good person. She's not a criminal.
Now, my mom is gone, and she's been taken from us for no reason at all. Every day that passes, you deport more moms and dads, take them away from kids like me.
We will begin moving them out. Day one.
You separated thousands of children from their parents, and you put them in cages. Some of those kids are now orphans because of you.
These are people. I don't want them in our country. They're animals.
Mr. President, my mom is the wife of a proud American Marine and a mother of 2 American children. We are American families. We need a president who will bring people together, not tear them apart. Sincerely, Estella.
I'm Lucy Sanchez, and this is my mother Sylvia and sister Jessica. We're like all families. We work hard to build a good life.
I was born with spinal bifida. That means my spinal cord didn't form like it should. And the doctors in my town said I wouldn't survive. They gave my mother no hope for my future.
I'm a U.S. citizen, but my mother is undocumented.
And I am a dreamer.
Yo hice lo que cualquier madre haría para salvar la vida de su niña.
My mother did what any mother would do to save her baby's life.
Tomé a mi niña en brazos, viajamos a la frontera. Al llegar al río, la levanté sobre el agua y cruzamos.
She took my sister in her arms and traveled for days to reach the border. And when they got to the river, she lifted my sister above the water and crossed.
We came to America before I was 1 year old.
Y'all, I'm not going to Puerto Rico.
They
They just like closed the border.
My mother had no choice.
I'm stuck here forever. Well, I'm gonna hopefully go sometime in the future, but they're closing it from like tomorrow until September 11th. They're not closing the borders, but they're like, you cannot leave your house on Sundays, and like curfews at 7 o'clock.
Is that Angel?
Pictures of Kitty Cool, so sad, when we used to be on hair.
Oh, I didn't even thought about the swimsuits yet. Oh. Okay, by the time you get to Puerto Rico, You know how big my butt's gonna be? I'm gonna need new swimsuits.
Selena, why don't you remind me?
I mean, it was really
They've been doing
yeah. And it's just like, he was like, you can still come. They're not shutting down the airport. Like, you know, it's like a lot of like Puerto Rican people are really pissed right now. It's a time where fucking shit out of my heart.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be like even though I'm not cool with like that instigation or that sort of thing. So. And you know, it's like as much as I want to like stay with sex all day, experience, yeah, like oh this and that.
What about like Canada, get there, they have space. Yeah. I mean, maybe some of the
Maybe I will take that week. I don't know. I was thinking, oh, his birthday is October 26th. Mine is 1st. So try doing that. And that way I could also I think like get a strategic like R&D, like now that I know sort of schedule R&D better so that I can like come back, get a test before going back to work. So,
Today I can just be sad. This is gonna cheer me up, right?
Yeah, maybe you should watch this. This is gonna make me feel good. Maybe when Obama's really crying about immigration.
Perfect.
Yeah. Really uplifting.